from you, Colin, if that's okay with you.
Sounds good.
Okay, so just to get things started, for the record, this is the third episode, if that's not too formal a word right now, of Alaska Teacher Talk. And I'm Tom McKenna, and this year I'm serving as a Teaching Ambassador Fellow for the Department of Education while teaching fourth grade here in Juneau. And we have Erica Schneider and Therese Ashton with us. They can each introduce themselves. And tonight, Colin Osterhout here in Juneau is going to tell us a bit about what he's been doing with Minecraft in education. So, so Erica, why don't you tell us where you are and what brings you here?
I am in Dillingham. I teach 6th grade, and I keep hearing about Minecraft. One of our 5th grade teachers did something with it with her STEM in the K-8 classroom like this semester, and so I said I should find out what's going on and kind of hear a little bit more about it. So that's me.
Therese?
I'm Therese Ashton. I'm in Tanana. I'm currently the principal superintendent here, and what brings me here is because 2 years ago when I was thinking of becoming ASD's president and needing to know what I was going to focus on, it came to me quickly that games and game-based learning was a really important topic. So I've been thinking about this for a couple of years, but I really am actually kind of a newbie to all this, even though in my head I knew it was something good. So I'm kind of reaching out and looking at other people who are the experts and trying to find out what they know. So right now I'm just really going to enjoy listening to Colin and see what he can help me with. So that ASTI will be great.
ASTI's always great, and it's not. A lot of it has, a lot of it's to do with people who do a lot of work behind the scenes to make it all awesome. But it's also just, it's just wonderful. Every year I go there because there's just you put all these people in the same venue, and it's just amazing what happens. So I've really just enjoyed it, ASTI a lot over the past. I think this is my 3rd time I went this year. So, introduction. I'm Colin Osterhout, and I have just gotten my Master's of Ed Tech degree from UAS, and the past 2 weeks I've done 0 Minecraft because before that I was doing a lot, and so I've been really enjoying the weather we have outside, and now it's time to get back to education. I've been loving my time outside, but now it's time to get back.
Well, Colin, thanks for coming in on a sunny night, and congratulations.
Sorry,
especially you know.
I have this other job in the summertime as a part-time guide, and so we had this meeting out at the boss's house, and so I was zooming back. As soon as my wife showed up, I grabbed a burger and zoomed down the road and called Tom really quickly. Tom, I'll be there in like 5 minutes. And then I hit every single light on the way back. So I apologize for being a little late.
Well, luckily we scheduled some technical difficulties to make you right on time.
You know, with Google Hangouts, there's always. Yeah, and I was one of the proponents, so I apologize. But there's always like some weird nuance and stuff. So it's good that we're working on all the bugs and figuring it all out. I think it's pretty cool, but we'll figure it out. So tonight we want to talk a little bit about Minecraft, and I always preface conversations like this by saying I'm not really an expert in Minecraft. So I hate it when I say that because I'm expected to be this expert in Minecraft, but when it comes down to it, almost every middle schooler or high schooler that I run into that has played it is like way beyond my ability to build stuff inside of Minecraft or do neat things inside of Minecraft. My skills with Minecraft have been in working with teachers to implement the game in their classroom, and so I want to let people know that it's okay not to be an expert. As long as you're setting up all the guidelines and stuff. So we have a pretty small room today. So with a show of hands, who has actually seen Minecraft in action?
I'm embarrassed to say I have not.
Okay.
I'm not a gamer at all.
I've seen video.
You've seen video. That's good.
I've
Good.
only seen snippets because you know, I occasionally look over my students' shoulders, and I have a 14-year-old son. So
Yeah, there you go.
Does your son, is he really into it? Does he have?
you know, he's gone through phases, but no, he doesn't like wear Minecraft T-shirts or anything like that. But yeah, I think he keeps a hand in it pretty very.
Perfect.
I made up a
Do we
bunch of
have to
those.
rate this video?
You know, I don't even have to go to a telephone booth. I just break out in the chat mode. So I think I'll start. I have a lot of stuff I can talk about, and I've got a lot of things we can do. But I'll start with a little introduction of why I got into Minecraft, and we'll kind of go from there. So I got into Minecraft as part of my UAS ed tech stuff. We were doing this semester on differentiating instruction using educational technology, and I was kind of pondering what to do. I didn't have a classroom. I was a tech guy working for CERC, which is Alaska's sole educational resource center, nonprofit educational resource center, and so I had a lot of interactions with teachers and stuff, but no real actual classroom. So I hooked up with this guy Nathan Adams from Zonta Middle School here in Juneau, and I got to thinking, well, why don't we do some sort of game or simulation or something like that? And this other professor from UAS kind of got onto that, and this other student, Ann Curlin, got into that idea, and I just started browsing through. I hadn't done serious gaming in years because I have, wife, 2 kids, and I haven't played games in a long time. When I was in college, I used to play games. I mean, this is back in like Castle Wolfenstein and Doom days. I mean, that's a long time ago. So I think that's pretty cool. Let's check it out. And so I started browsing around. What's new and hip and within the age range that would be applicable. And I kept on getting these references to Minecraft. I was, got to thinking about it, and then all of a sudden, I went to ASTI, and this is not this year, but last year, and a guy by Dan Lasota and Owen Guthrie from UAF eLearning, they put on a presentation about Minecraft in the classroom, and I was blown away. I was blown away by how awesome it was, because within 1 hour, which is, by the way, way too short, but just enough to taste. Within 1 hour, they showed us how you could create a world and how you can do certain math concepts inside this game. I was like, this game's come a long way. This is really cool. And so I went back, as every participant of ASTI has ever done, they see all this stuff, and they're like, we got to do this right now. And so I went back to my professor and my fellow students, and I was like, we should try this, because it seemed to fit. And the more I got into it, the more I realized it's like this bottomless pit of time and energy. That doesn't go near enough far to explain even what it is. So I'll try to back up a little bit. Minecraft is this sandbox game, and that means that there's no real point to the game. I mean, you can get to the quote unquote end and slay the Ender Dragon and I guess win the game, but I've never even tried, because it's really about defining your own purpose within the game itself. So just like you sit down with a big box of Legos, it's not like you're going to win at Legos. You just build. So, my son and I, he comes out in the morning times, and before he even says hi to me, he's into his Legos and he's building stuff. So he'll ask me to, let's go build some stuff. And so he has some direction for me, like he wants me to help build a plane, and he's got an airport and stuff. And so we do that. And just same thing in Minecraft. We'll get into the game about once a week, and he wants me to help him build something for his house. And keep in mind, my son's 5, so he's able to put stuff together inside of this game, Minecraft. And again, does it have a real point? I mean, I guess the stuff he's building is supposed to trap zombies, but the whole thought process behind it is pretty outstanding, because now he can explain why he's building stuff the way he's building it. So Minecraft started out as it still is an independent game, which it's not under one of the major game publishers, and it has this huge following of people who are continuously developing modules for it and customizing it making new worlds for it. They'll make tutorials and they'll post them on YouTube. If you search Minecraft on YouTube, you're gonna find, oh God, like millions of videos, and that's not even an exaggeration. It's all over the place. People will, like, it's like this subculture of people who are generating Minecraft videos. So, so through the differentiation course, we were able to sort of put together some things for Nathan for each one of his students. Like, they're all at a different level. He's doing and still is doing, but at a different school now. Oh, sorry, Nathan was at JDHS. Now he's at DZ, but at JDHS, he had these students in special ed. They were all different levels, and he would assign them different things. Like, okay, this week, build your pagoda, and we want you to have it a certain dimension, like maybe a certain area or something like that. And students would build however they saw fit. Anne was working with proportion type stuff. Like, she would build a model, let's say of a cube with a certain volume, and she would post a little sign in front of it. It says, this is a 4 by 3 by 2 solid. And then next door to it, she'd say, now here's a big pile of stuff, go build your own thing, but I want you to scale everything by 3. And then over here she'd have a pyramid. So, okay, this is a 6 by 6 by such and such height pyramid. Put a little sign next to it. Now do the same thing except scale it by a factor of 4. And so people would have to go place the blocks down in order to figure it out. So that was pretty cool. And then I thought, okay, the semester's done. I'm done with Minecraft. I'll never have to play it again. It's fun. I loved it. But now it's time to move on to other stuff. And before I knew it, there was another class came about, and Dr. McMillan from UES is like, well, what if we did, Minecraft is great, and kids love playing Minecraft, and especially the middle schoolers. So why don't we have a whole class on how to do STEM education inside of Minecraft? I thought, wow, it's pretty cool. And then we got to thinking, well, is it just about Minecraft? It's really about STEM. So, and Minecraft is sort of the vehicle or reference implementation that we were using to do it. And Erica, you mentioned that you had one fellow teacher. I think it was Karen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Karen was a great example. I loved working with her because she was her experience with games was less than even my experience, which wasn't even that great, and she doggedly pursued her skills in Minecraft. And she would send me this. She sent me this frantic email one time that I just can't figure it out. Spent hours and hours and hours. And I thought, man, what other experience would someone work and bang their head against it for hours and hours and hours and not and still fight it? Like almost any other class, people would have gave up a long time ago. But something about it is compelling enough for people to jump through all the hoops and stuff. And her students did some pretty cool work. So anyway, back to the class description. Dr. McMillan wanted to do this whole how to do STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, math, using some tool in K through 8. And as he picked for that, north of Fairbanks, along the Brooks Range, there's a Adigan Pass, and sort of just south of that, there's there's some permafrost that's melting in this valley. So the whole thing is kind of sliding down slowly, and it's projected that within 10 years it's going to cross over the Hall Road going north, and it's a monster. And so he named it the Monster Load, trademark. So it's got to be a problem that has to be dealt with if you want to keep hauling stuff up to the pipeline and the services and stuff. You need to bring this up. So the idea was we'd have students figure out some way to deal with this using Minecraft as a vehicle. So part of what we ended up doing is we took the topology of the area, and we used a whole series of tools stemming from Google Earth and shuttle overflight missions, and using these overlays in Google Earth, you can figure out which map you need to download from this other website, and you download this map, and you open it up in your favorite bitmap editor, and you do this other thing, and then you go over here and you import it to this other program called World Painter, and you do that. Before you know it, 2 hours have passed by, and you had no idea how, but you've ended up with this map of, with real topology of the area, so that students can build in this actual real, real world. And so it's out of the whole class, maybe about 4 out of 12, 6 out of 12 ended up doing that project, how they would solve this problem, and they had students enter into this shared world that we hosted on a server that we ran, and develop solutions for it. And I thought that was super, super cool. Of course there's a lot of other ways that you can use tools to fix it, or to design design solutions. Google SketchUp would work, or heck, just a diorama using Play-Doh would be just a also useful tool, just to show it, and where you maybe put some huge retaining wall, or how you might part away extra material at the face of this thing, or what have you. So, but it seemed like it was a pretty cool success, and people were really, really jazzed about it.
So, Colin, could I ask you just on the mechanical level? So you've got it sounds like a fascinating project. Now I'm trying to envision setting my students to do a similar kind of task, and you mentioned servers. The nomenclature of servers seems to be how Minecraft is organized. How does a teacher, let's say, get access to student work? Is it all through just looking over shoulders and having students present, or can those servers be shared so that you can sort of manage and look at student work remotely?
You hate it, but the answer is yes. So, like one of the frustrating things and one of the awesome things about Minecraft is that Minecraft, the client, is the way that would sort of work. If I was just Joe Collin, I didn't have any sort of class or anything else, I was just a regular consumer, and I wanted to play this game, I buy this account through the company that runs it, Mojang. And when I buy the account, it's for life. I think it's current prices. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's not terrible. And then I would download the client, and then you can find servers listed on Reddit. And then you can play single player and you just have fun. So that's wonderful. But one thing that Minecraft does is that they release the client as part of your account, but the server they give you for free. So you can, because Minecraft is this client and server application, like your client runs on your computer, and a server can run anywhere. So it can run your machine, a machine in your lab, a machine that you've got hosted in Dallas, Texas, like we have. It doesn't really matter. You can host it anywhere. And not only that, but not only is the server free, but there's other servers out there. So you might hear, if you're starting to get really curious, like, oh, I want to run my own server. How do I do that? Well, there's a group of individuals called Forge, and they make their own server, and the Bucket, they make their own server. Those are the two ones, plus that would call the vanilla one. So that makes things clear as mud. But that's not all. now there's an educational one called Minecraft EDU, and they sort of release their own special client and their own special server, and it's all geared around education. In my opinion, it's a wonderful deal. They are great to work with, and have been in the past, and the teacher tools that they produce as part of this client server package are really wonderful, and I think I can talk for some, I can talk my head off for another hour, but at some point I probably want to show what it looks like to actually do it, right? And then we can have some real questions.
Yeah.
And with saying Minecraft EDU is probably the best way to start, and it offers a lot of flexibility. Like you can have a server hosted in your lab. If you've got, let's say, your middle school teacher, and you've got a lab of computers, you can host it right there. Pretty simple. You can host it on just your well, if you've got a pretty beefy laptop, you can host it there. Or if you wanted to expose it to the world and have this collaboration operate between your computer, your lab, and maybe you've got another classroom off in Dillingham that you work with, and you want to have both classrooms collaborate, then you can host it somewhere else. You can host it on. There's all these hosting services that will be happy to accept some money each month to host your Minecraft server. So
So there are free servers. You mentioned Forge, Bucket, and Minecraft EDU, and then there's a there's a fee for the client, but then there is a pay for service hosting that's on a larger scale of some kind.
let's back up a little. Minecraft EDU is not free, so they release their server piece for a small amount of money. I think it's $41 currently, and that's for per school in perpetuity. It's not per year. And they also run great deals on. Remember, I mentioned I was Joe Consumer. I just wanted to buy my Minecraft Mojang account.
Right.
They also will cut you deals if you're an educational institution, pretty significant deals on per client licenses. So
Okay. So I don't want to get us too thick in the weeds of individual
we can
subscriptions,
go.
but I just
Like I said,
wanted
we
to
can spend hours there.
I just wanted to get the lay of the land in terms of what your average teacher would have to have in place to make this work.
I think that kind of segues nicely into the deer in the headlights look. Okay, it sounds great, and we're going to see some visuals pretty soon. But what is that? Where do I start? I don't want to do a whole. Am I going to do a whole semester's long of instruction using this thing, and I don't even know anything about it? How do I even start? And I think the way I would start if I was a teacher in a school, I would start with some sort of after-school club or before school or lunch thing, and get all the bugs worked out. And not only that, you start figuring out pretty quickly you know, who's got a lot of Minecraft experience and maybe able to um, help out. Like I said, a lot of the students are very well versed in all this stuff. One of the first experiences I had is we had set up this world and whatnot, and for a DZ classroom, and I went there to observe, and instantly I was flooded by all these kids who had all these great ideas on how to do stuff, and because they had experiences before, like with this um, certain module that you can install and do stuff with, or certain things that you can do, and I didn't know. I was really like, I don't know. So right away I realized I was not an expert right there, and if I was going to do it as an after-school program, I would probably do it as a democratic process and have them sort of lead the way within certain parameters. So um, hope that clears it up. I'm thinking at this point I've talked a lot about it, so if we don't have any additional questions, I'd like to load up um, Minecraft and show you what it looks like.
Sounds great.
All right. So give me a second or two to actually load it up. So while I'm doing that, I'm going to sandbag a little bit and say that on my laptop when I'm running Chrome and in a Google Hangout plus Minecraft, things start bogging down. So it could be a little chunky. It's not too bad. So still loading. It runs on pretty much most any hardware that's been made within the past 5 years, I think. Sometimes you can do a little tweaking to make it run better, on certain older machines or whatnot, but it seems to run pretty well on just about most everything. As long as you've got Java installed, Java is required. Sorry, it's still loading.
So when you were working with students that you described with Nathan, for example, were they interacting with one another, or were they in a single user kind of setting as they were scaling out those buildings and those?
Nathan had a server, I believe, running on his laptop.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So the whole small group of kids could be interacting, could be creating in the same space then.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I am logging right now.
And what do you think it is about Minecraft in particular that that has so many kids? You know, I have fourth graders who are just really, really into it. And is it that you mentioned that kind of sandbox feel with the analogy to Legos that it's not going in there to win, but it's just endlessly scalable? Is it that kind of dimension that draws middle age kids in? Do you think?
I don't know. I haven't done enough surveying to figure out what it is that they find um, super compelling about it. For me, it kind of, I think back to when I was probably that age, and I remember my parents had the game Othello, a game you put pieces down, and if you put pieces down the right place, chips would turn over in your favor and stuff. And in the box, it had this little tagline. It takes a minute to learn, a lifetime to master. That's so cool. I think Minecraft's sort of the same way. You can get in and play the game really quickly, but as far as all the skills go and what you can do with it, you know, there's a lot of room for mastery.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna go kind of start. Where should I go? I haven't been in this world for a little while, so I can't remember what's here now. But this is the world of Minecraft. Everything is a block, for the most part. Like this little block is a special little block that allows you to teleport around in the world. This little block is just a little information block. This is a tree, believe it or not, that I'm standing in front of. The leaves are a block, the trunk's a block, the dirt below it, each block is a meter cubed, and that's about it. So this is lava, and it's sort of the source cube or the source block for lava is just a normal block, just like anything else. These little rails sort of occupy 1/16 of a block height, but they sit right there. But just about everything you see is a block. And so you might say to yourself, why is this compelling at all when I have these games that are even way more way more realistic? Why would I play this game when everything is a meter by meter block? And I think kind of going back to that question of what people find compelling is, have you ever heard of the Uncanny Valley?
No.
Have you ever watched any CGI movies and you've gotten almost physically ill? Well, the same sort of thing applies. Like in a lot of games or a lot of movies, if it becomes really realistic, you start being really turned off by it. It's obviously artificial, but so close to realistic that it's something's unnerving about it. Well, I think there's no danger of that in Minecraft. These are horses, but they don't look really. They look like horses, but they're not like super realistic.
Right. Right.
So in Minecraft, you have to use a proper tool. I'll show you certain examples of how to build stuff. And keep in mind, I'm a teacher, so I log in this game as a teacher, so I can have the ability to do just about anything I want to do. And so I'm gonna just start placing blocks. My little get the basic idea, and then breaking blocks. And so, like that idea of Legos, I can just make my whatever creation I want. So this is some of the students' work. This is the world I'm logging into right now. This is what we used in that STEM and K-8 education. And this is some of the work that was done by one of the teachers who was taking the class. This was uh, both of their sons. I think both of the sons had done this. They started making these anime figures for some reason, not at all related to the class. They just really wanted to make this stuff. So they had made this pretty ornate little world inside of here. Like this is a Mario Brothers thing. Anyway, and he had built all this for just for his own enjoyment.
Wow.
So getting demonstrating some of the actual STEM stuff that people actually did. This was the layout of the monster lobe. I made these little islands, these little regions that people could claim as their own and build off of, and each one has the same topography of that area south of Vatican Pass. And this was my stab at solving the monster lobe. I said, well, I will build these retaining walls every such and such number of meters. It's not exactly 1 meter to 1 meter. The scale's off on this one. So this was my demonstration for teachers on how you might, you know, um, show your class what you can do. And all this stuff right here, these wood blocks and these little ice blocks and snow, these represent that frozen or rapidly unfreezing permafrost mixed with bits of ice and wood and leaf and debris flowing down this mountain.
So when you say you create all these islands for students to show their work, like how does someone kind of see the big picture and know where these islands are?
It's a good question. Um, I I can bring up a Google Doc that shows you like how the world actually looks. What I did, if you want. So
Well, I mean,
let me give you the overview and see if that satisfy your response or your question. So when I create this topology with these mountains and this valley right here, keep in mind that I'm working with a bitmap initially, right? And then I generate a world from that. So I can take that bitmap and take sections of it, copy, and then paste numerous times in this big file, and then tell, just like it would be source code for developing an application, I tell my application to now build this world from this bitmap. And so
right.
that's what I copied and pasted it 6 times in this case, and that makes it a lot easier. And I kind of drew these little lines that connect each island, each region together. So ideally you could walk between each world if you wanted to. I also put the ability to teleport around to each of these different regions. No. Some other student work, or some real student work. Okay. One teacher did a mock-up of the monster lobe, true to scale, and she and her students had actually built this almost block for block, showing the amount of material that was in the lobe. My lobe that I just showed you before wasn't really to scale. When I was building the world, I 1-to-1 would be massive, so I scaled it down. But she actually built it 1 meter is 1 meter, and this is how big it was. And just like crocheting, you see all these patterns that sort of emerge, and she did all of this by hand. Pretty amazing. Let's check this out. Anything's done this one. Nope, this one's blank. Okay, this was students' work, and these kids I think were 6 and 8, I think, maybe a little bit older. Their design was they're going to build this massive retaining wall that was huge retaining wall that they built to hold back whatever would come down this mountain. At this age level, I don't think they really got the, you know, that building a massive retaining wall would be this hugely expensive undertaking. But they had sort of an idea, and they sort of justified it by saying, well, we'll have this roller coaster that goes all the way around it, and we'll charge people money for it. That's how we'll fund our monster load, diversion project. So they built that big roller coaster goes all the way around it. I thought it was pretty cool.
So
Erica,
when
go ahead.
kids that age are creating something like that, how much of their work is repetition? I'd be concerned if it's too much. You were just going to put down meter by meter by meter of blocks versus, the creative thinking that goes into how to solve the problem.
Definitely, there is some repetition to be sure. There are tools that are available to help with that. Like, let me go up. This is what Karen's class from Dillingham did. They didn't do anything to do with the monster lobe at all. This is a mock-up of a dam that they were designing, and it's not the concaveness I would expect. They built this, and they didn't do all these block for block. They used some tools to help them out. Like, if you enable certain things for students, I could set, every time I place a block, I'm going to set actually 44 of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Mechanical.
Boom. Well, now we have 44 high. So that's pretty crude, but you can do it that way, and then sort of knock off stuff that you don't need, trim it. If I mess up, I can undo it. There's a lot of other tools too. As a teacher in this game, you're sort of in this Minecraft EDU mode. The way it's set up, I can either be a teacher or I can be a student, right? So as a student, I have less rights out of the box than I would as a teacher. The teacher can then go in and say, well, I'd have to log in again, but as a teacher, I can go in and say, well, Bobby should have the build tools, but I'm looking over and I see that Sally is busy just chatting away inside the chat box. So maybe I want to mute her, and Billy's just lost all the time. So he's constantly asking me, where am I at? So I can teleport him to wherever I'm standing. So you have a lot of that. Minecraft EDU is really nice because you have a lot of stuff out of the box that can help you manage your class.
So Colin, could I ask you if one of us were to take your advice, which sounds like great advice, and start an after-school club or a lunchtime club or something, are there tutorials? I know things like GameStar Mechanic has an interface where you have to sort of progress through this kind of apprenticeship playing aspects of the game until you can start to build and create. Is there something similar in Minecraft?
Sure. Let me show you.
And I do want to be conscious of time. I know we started late, but we are approaching 8 o'clock. So
out of the box, this is a little bit modified, but what you see in front of you right now, I think it's still there, is what's called Tutorial World. And again, it's been this particular server for a totally different class has been up for a while, and so students have gone in and sort of damaged a bunch of stuff just because they can. But this is how people would run through and learn how to run the game. So, it has a whole tutorial that this is part of Minecraft EDU that has them walk from not knowing how to do anything. Seeing the screen, W is forward, A is left, B is right, S is back. And then as they walk through, they read the little signs. And I'm going to move myself up real fast. And as they go through, they learn how to, I can't go any further. Maybe I should press space. Okay. The big word on the wall says space. So, by the time you get done, people have a general feeling of how to move around and stuff, how to place blocks, how
Mhm.
to destroy stuff. That gets them in there pretty well. The if I was the first time like the first month I was playing, I had no idea what I was doing, even with the tutorial world. I could move around and stuff. I didn't really know how to do anything neat. Um, I thought, well, how does the millennial learner learn? Well, they go to YouTube. So I finally got on YouTube. I'm almost embarrassed to say it took me that long. And as soon as I got on YouTube, you just search on like Minecraft space, tutorial space, whatever block you want. And people will give the whole tutorial video on it. But I'm not sure the best way to put it in chat, but there's a lot of resources that are 100% free and are invaluable to getting started. And maybe we should post some sort of maybe links after I'm done here in the Google community, and that's probably the best way to do it. But there's Minecraft has a wiki, and for every block that you can imagine or everything that you want to build, um, they have a page about it. If you want to get involved in doing some neat stuff using farming, for example, in Minecraft, you can farm stuff. You can plant seeds and then after a certain period of time harvest it, or you can dig down and find stuff. So and then you're mining for gold or mining for coal or whatnot. Maybe you want to find a more efficient way to do it. There's a wiki page on it if you can think of it. Uh, there's whole forums, Minecraft forums out there that are super valuable in addition to the whole YouTube thing. Minecraft EDU has their own wiki, though whenever I've checked about a month ago, it's somewhat out of date. Speaking of Google communities, there's another Google community that's dedicated to Minecraft in education, and that's been pretty fun. There's like this, not competing, but there's a Google email group, Minecraft teachers, and that's pretty fun. The I guess the takeaway there is that if you can think about something you may want to do inside of Minecraft, someone's probably already done it, and very good chance that someone's also posted some link about it or some tutorial about it. So I thanks for reminding me, Tom. I'll post a bunch of links in the Google community for how to do that. I also wrote a Google document that's published, and I'll put that up there too about how to Minecraft for beginners, assuming not very much knowledge, and I'll post that as well.
Great. That would be a fantastic resource, and I will share that out with the people who seem to be interested but couldn't make it tonight. How about Erica, Therese? Are there what's resonating for you? Any comments before we wrap it up tonight?
I guess my only comment is the question I've had ever since hearing about gamification is I worry that the intrinsic part of learning that we trying to make stuff too fun, and kids don't get that reward of reading a long novel or building a toothpick bridge or some of those things and seeing the reward. That's still my hesitation, but it's nice to know a little bit more about it and to see what it is, and I can definitely see how it could be used, in combination with some of those other things.
So let's split up gamification from games in the classroom, because serious gaming, because they're different. So the gamification might be like, let's say I've got a scoreboard in my room, and if you turn in your assignment ahead of time, I'm going to give you 5 experience points. Or if you do this other thing, your clan or your team has now got this additional experience, and then we can parlay that into moving our test date or something like that. That's when people talk about gamification. That's generally what they mean. Games in the classroom is sort of thought about differently. So that's one part of it. The second part is how might we use, like talking about literature, how might we use Minecraft as an add-on to talking about Harry Potter or some other book that you want to read. They could do a model inside of here, or what the other class I was doing this year was all about using building a realistic environment inside of Minecraft that mimicked the Hunger Game, and had this whole concept of you know, if I was a peacekeeper, I'm one of the peacekeeper people, and I'm assigned these tasks that I need to do. I have to make sure that people contribute to the community thing, or people aren't carrying around weapons or aren't selling things illegally, or if I'm a member of the other group, that's just trying to survive. Because in Minecraft, the game, there's a concept of hunger and being wounded and stuff. So you could with these modules and stuff, you can tweak up these little variables like turn hunger way up or what have you. So you can create these realistic simulations inside of Minecraft that simulate something that's intrinsic to the novel, which is pretty cool. As far as intrinsic motivation to want to do this stuff, I don't have any hard data or studies to prove it, but it really seems that a lot of students, not all, but a lot of students are very into spending time and making things very realistic. And Chris just joined up, and Chris was with me on the Hunger Games project, and it was incredible. So, Chris, Erica just brought up a good question about, well, games are great, but worrying about, and correct me if I'm wrong, Erica, but worrying about using them too much and not finding, like, not getting to the meat of stuff.
So I just want to make sure that, go ahead.
Well, I wanted you to, if you had some experiences you wanted to share from the Hunger Games things, as far as like students that you interacted with, as far as Minecraft or whatnot, where is Minecraft's place or any game's place inside of education? Like, does it supplant? Is it pandering to the audience? Is it, how do you see it fit?
I just finished a 5-day Minecraft build with my 5th graders at Kinnick, where we were given a very small window of time to create something for somebody else's class, and I kind of threw together a lesson for them. The expectation was that they build our school and representative parts of our school as a community service project for incoming 3rd graders, so that we could create a video tour with the 5th graders explaining the neat features about our school. Now, we didn't have enough time to get to the screencast, so the entirety of our lesson with 25 5th graders was Minecraft, was building the school. And I have to say that, again, I was totally blown away by the connections they made and the problem solving they did and the conversations they had and the collaborations that they did. It takes me out of my realm every time I use it. And it makes connections educationally for me in ways that I didn't expect them to be able to do or to have as an objective in my lesson. So, I really wish I'd filmed a little bit of it. I don't know what to say. That was also my experience on the Hunger Games. When they have the opportunity to create and be a part of it and direct their learning goes in all directions exponentially. It really is amazing. I don't want to get long-winded here, but it's amazing.
Did you get a chance to check it? You ever met Lexi Razor?
No.
She's teaching at JDHS, and she was doing Minecraft as part of this, again, that STEM and K-8 classroom. And she had some students that were doing it as a link with the biology teacher next door. She had her students design plant cells inside of Minecraft with a cell wall and a membrane inside of that, and all the bodies inside, like the mitochondria and the nucleus and all that kind of stuff. And I thought it was pretty cool. And then she was describing it to me. She's like, the people who I never hear from, and she's dealing with a lot of at-risk students. And the kids that she never hears contribute to class or work well with others, she said were just so far like was really mind blowing for her, because they were contributing, they were in class, they were doing stuff, they were they were working with others, and that could be Lexi right there.
Well, sorry about the interruption there. We are running short on time. Chris, I'm glad you found us. We had to move the Hangout. There was a glitch with the first one. Sudas, before we finish up, is there anything resonating for you?
Oh yeah, as an administrator, I'm always looking at the kids when I evaluate the teachers. And one of the things that not in my district because I'm new to this district, but when I go to ASTE and I see the students who are engaged in Minecraft, there's just so much passion, and I'm thinking they're involved and they're in charge of their own learning. So I was really interested to see what was it about this particular strategy that worked so well. I have, even with iPads, I have these little kids in second grade who, just by doing a couple of things, now they take their iPad and they're creating dioramas and making their characters move, and they're filming it on the iPad. I mean, I'm always looking for things like that where I see the kids kind of take that learning and go further than you would ever see them do with a worksheet. So that's the passion that I have, is I know there's something there. I know that, well, when the novel first came out, that was revolutionary, and it was something that people were raging and going, oh, that's terrible, and we shouldn't do that. And now it's in schools. So I know that there's something about this idea of having fun doing games that kind of makes people uneasy, but there's a power there. And I think we need to find out how to harness it and make it work for all kids. Because I know there are some kids who are immediately attracted and drawn to these things. And there's still some kids that are kind of on the outskirts of it. But that's what I'm hoping for ASTE this year, is that we really get that conversation going with the people who don't have that coming in their realm of thinking, and the ones that have been doing it to share as much as we can, because I keep telling you, there is a power there.
Even if you do nothing else with Minecraft, you can use it as a vehicle to teach the whole screencasting aspect of it, the whole research, like learning how, like if they want to do something, go ahead and research it. Find it out on your own, and report on it. Document about it, write your own tutorial, whatever. And as a vehicle for all that, if nothing else, that's huge. So, any other questions before we sign off tonight?
Well, Colin, I will share with people where we end up posting things. We're kind of in multiple spots for Alaska Teacher Talk, but I really want to thank you for coming in on a beautiful night and sharing so generously in such a short bit of time. So thanks for being here. And I just wanted to say that we've had 3 episodes of this Alaska Teacher Talk, and I hope to make it a regular thing next year. And I want to fiddle around and figure out what our platform will be over the summer. But one of the inspirations for this came from Erica and a conversation we had at ASTE, just trying to find spaces. And Tammy Van Wy and Tammy Morris and I have talked in different ways about this, but trying to find spaces for teachers to surface things they want to talk about, things there might be some energy about, and to have conversations. And Erica mentioned Twitter chats. Tammy Van Wy and I were talking about places where we could share good practice, maybe at the same time there's a state meeting kind of thing, and keep some sort of trickle of continuity from conversation to conversation. So I don't think we'll do another one during the summer, but if you'd like to email me with ideas for topics, please know you're helping us to get started, and I appreciate that.
So I want to invite anyone to contact me through Twitter. I've got that little Twitter thing on my lower third, or Google Plus happy to chat. Also, I've been sort of away from the Minecraft teachers or Minecraft and education Google community, but I was checking it pretty regularly, and I just graduated, so my mind's been elsewhere. And Eric, I finally remember you're related to Kyle, correct?
Yeah, he's my husband
Okay,
upstairs doing his own grad classes.
I remember now where we met, so I'm sorry I didn't remember you right off the top of my head, the hour.
No problem.
Yeah.
Well, great to connect with you all, and there's still a little bit of sunshine here. I never thought one of my technical problems would be hiding from the sun, but I will edit this and get it on the site, and we'll be in touch.
Thanks,
Thank
Don.
you so much.
Yep, thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Good night.
Have a good night.
Hey, Colin,
Yeah.
let's extend